it's almost Valentine's Day, everyone. So I'm presenting you with a Valentine's look. Most of the other Valentine looks that I've seen were either more brown and gold, like very just everyday date kind of things, or they were absolutely crazy, which were beautiful, but like where they had like giant heart details and all that stuff. And I'm like, I need something in between those. So I went with something, call me cliche and classic. I think it's beautiful, perfect for a nice day or night mix, perfect for a date with yourself or a significant other if you so have one. But I am going to, we're going to get started with the look. I have my mirror here, as you can see, and that's why we're going to be doing this eye. I'll do my lips at the end, and I did try to choose some spicier objects, titles and such, and I'll explain that as we go. So to get started, let me go ahead and look weird with only one eye done while I tell you what I already have on. I used the Heavenly Skin CC Plus brush to use the It Cosmetics CC cream in the Illumination version. I love this stuff. It gives you a perfect glow with beautiful coverage, and it also has SPF 50 in it, which is amazing, and I think adds to the hydration glow. Primer of your choice. Under my eye, I also have the Bobbi Brown Corrector in Peach. I have this sample of Benefit's Gimme More Brow in the color 2, which I think is just a hint light for me, but I still think that it looks nice. And I will move along with the rest of this as we go. I also have a little light dusting of the Maybelline Fit Me powder, which is a dupe of Laura Mercier's translucent powder. So I just have a very light dusting of this all over my face as well. And now we can go ahead and get started. Okay, so we're going to start with Milani eyeshadow primer or primer of your choice. I'm going to put a little underneath there. Go. Again, this doesn't have any neutralizing. I did put the CC cream across my eye first because I do have a bit of discoloration, just biological genetic thing. And I'm going to begin with a fluffy brush. This is from e.l.f. It's just, that's all it's called. It's called the Fluffy Eye Brush. And I'm going to go in with a tan color, just a light, very light tan sand color. Something that's just a little darker, slightly darker than my skin with the fluffy brush. And I'm going to start with putting the bulk of it in the crease, and then we're going to go across the entire lid with it, and I do have a reason for doing so, just to give us a little bit of, because we're doing a warmer color range, just to give us a nice base. There's that. Now I'm going to go in with, this is the Chelle and Vela Beauty. I got this as a sample from QVC's advent calendar. And I'm going to start with just a flat shader brush. And I'm going to go in with this color. This is the Blushing Rose palette, by the way. I'm going to start with this color, Glisten. And if you don't have this palette, no frets. And I'm just going to be putting, the way I do my makeup, by the way, people think is backwards because like I bounce around a lot, or they think I do things just completely upside down. But this is just what suits me. And as you can see, one of the reasons I put that color all over the base is because this color by itself just does not have like a lot of its own background color. It really is just a kind of a shiny glisten color on its own. It doesn't have like a solid backing to it. It does look pretty and gives a pretty glisten, but if you don't have something behind it, it just doesn't show up as well, at least on my skin tone. Deeper skin tones might have a little bit easier a time for it to show up. Alright, then, I don't know why I closed that palette because I'm going back in with it. Then, this is the color Presence, and this is the color Vibration and Spirited. But also, these aren't bad colors. Just on a flat shader brush, by the way, like one of the very flat ones. This is the Morphe M167. Highly recommended by one of my idols of the makeup community, Emily Noel. But we're just going to be putting that in here. And you really have to do kind of a pat. And what you need to do if you get the Chelle and Vela palette in Blushing Rose, you really it like seems like there's a top layer that you kind of have to get through before you really get a color payoff. So we're just going to do some patting. And then I'm going to take my brush. I have this to clean off my brush in between. This is washable and it's just a little bit better than a paper towel. I'm going to use that and just use that as an underlayer. Some people might think this particular color is a waste of time, but I think that it gives a glorious, like when you blend it, it blends so beautifully. And it gives this really nice warm background. It's a nice maroon, what I would consider a true maroon color. I'm just gonna fluff that out. Okay, then we are going to go into, this is the Urban Decay On the Run mini palette in Shortcut. We're going to be using some colors in here that are also quite cute. We're going to go in with this very deep, it kind of matches my shirt a little bit. In real life, the camera might be picking it up differently, but this is just a really deep maroon. If you have the regular On the Run palette, this is slightly deeper than the color Wild Heart. Again, on the flat shader brush, the Morphe one. And to avoid fallout, I'm going to be real gentle with this. But as you can see, that's just such a deep, almost purple maroon color. I'm going to pat that just up into the crease a little bit. I love it. And then before I blend again, I'm going to go in with the shimmery version of that color in this palette called Gash. Do a tap off because that really is a lot of glitter. Just a little bit. And it just gives a slight gleam in the corner. I don't want it to be massively shimmery in the crease, but I want it to have a little bit more sheen because I think that on Valentine's Day you can go for it. Call me classic and cliche. Again, that's just what we're going with. Then I'm going to take that same fluffy brush and we're going to be blending it. It gets a little bit out here in the beginning, but don't worry, we clean it up. So if this seems like a lot of mess for you, don't worry. It gets taken care of. There we go. And I do like to do windshield with twirlies when I blend. I feel like it gives me the best overall color. I'm going to go back in with my Coastal Scents 88 Warm palette, and you just choose the color of your choice. Hold on a second. My brush fell on the floor that I need. And here we just have an angled brush, and I'm just going into a lighter, you can see the two that I use the most, but I'm just going into a lighter highlight color just because I think that having a light up at the top contrasts nicely with the black to clean it, the reds to clean it up. And it is, the one that I'm using is the 7th column, 2nd row. Just for reference, so we're just going to go in, and again, we're just going to clean this up a little bit, just using an angled paddle brush. I think it does the best cleanup job for these sort of things. There we are. And then not putting anything else on the brush, I'm just going to take that fluffy brush again and just re-enhance, kind of dust some of that other color away, just to bring back some of what we had going on there. That's nice. And then I'm also going to go in with the same flat shader brush that I had before. The other side, I'm going to go in with the shimmery color in the shortcut palette called Sin. No, I'm not. I got very confused. I'm going to go in with the other side with the color Zone, which is really just a shimmer. And we're just going to lightly tap on the top just to enhance. Again, I'm really going for sparkle prettiness here. And then I'm going to take the Sin and just gently pop that into the inner corner. That's what we're doing with Sin. Oh, silly, silly FCA. There we go. Okay. Huh. Now that we have that going on, looking great, I am going to go in with, this is the Better Than Sex, you know, because it's sultry like eyeliner. I just use short little strokes right up against the lash line. And I'm going to do just a little teeny wing. That part got kind of big, didn't it? That's okay. I will fix it. And the way I'm going to fix it is I'm going to take a flat brush, just kind of pop it into Zone, and just glide it right over the top. I could go in with a gonna take a little bit of Gash. It's right there on the corner. And just blend that color in. And there. Now it's not so stark and intense. With this same little brush, I'm going to just tap between Rendezvous and Gash. And starting in the middle of the lash line, pulling out towards the corner of the lid. That way there's the least amount of color going into the inner corner, just so that we have a little bit of a connector here, but it's not so intense towards the inner part of the eye. Then I'm going to go in, I'm going to use NARS Climax mascara. If you want something that has some seriously naughty names, check out the Huda Beauty new Nudes palette from Sephora, or of course on Huda Beauty website. That has like some very intense like kink, arouse. If you want some seriously like sexy names, that's the palette for you. I have a lot of colors already in that palette though. I almost bought it to do the tutorial with instead, but I was like $67 and I have a lot of overlap. I just couldn't monetarily justify that for myself. So there's that, and I don't know if I mentioned it, I used the Shu Uemura lash curler and then just a little light tap underneath here. My eyes do not like eyeliner in my waterline at all. So that is why I'm not using that, but feel free to do whatever you want. I would recommend like a peach or a white just to keep it light underneath here. Or if you really feel bold, you can go for a red or a chocolate brown. For me personally, when I have a glowy foundation like the CC Cream Illumination, I feel like I will look greasy if I use too much highlights. What I'm going to go in with is Adore from Rare Beauty. I don't know if you could actually see that, but it is the color Adore. The liquid. I do a couple little dots, and I'm going to take my Sephora 56, the mini version. Get it mostly on the apples of the cheek and then blend it out. It has that in from the cold since it's February and where I live in the Midwest, it's cold. We actually have a giant snowstorm happening right now. So there is that. I'm going to finish it off with the Mario Badescu Rose Water finishing spray. And for lips, I am going with the Sephora Lipstories in Leo, which I think is just a beautiful, beautiful pop. I'm also going to top that with the Maybelline Lip Filter in Moon. Which I love the bright, I love the contrast of the lip with the eyes. This might seem a little clashy for some people. So if you want something else, I can recommend to you Sugarpill's Anti-Socialite, which is a maroon kind of brown liquid lipstick. If you want something more intense and vampy, you could also go with Scorpio from Lipstories, which again has that nice deep berry color going on. Or if you want to go more nude and neutral, you don't like attracting a bunch of attention to your lips, you can go with Rare Beauty's more neutral soft pink, and I forgot what the color is called. Confident, there we go. I don't know what I thought it was, but it was not Confident. But yes, so that is what it is. And again, I love a bright lip to contradict the eyes, but some people think that's clowny and clashy, and you're allowed to have your opinion. And I did offer some nice alternative colors if you prefer. I hope that you have a happy Valentine's Day. Love yourself. Take yourself out to dinner if you don't have a Valentine. And remember, all the love in the world. Mwah! I'll see you in the next video. Hope you enjoy.